Hello, welcome to my second go at this Chronicles of an Autistic Gamer. Um, it's honestly been, I don't know, maybe like a week since I did my first video, which was pretty hard to do, but this one feels like it was even harder because, to be quite honest, things have been shittier than my ability to pick the proper golf club and this shot I just made. Um, it's there's been a lot going on, so I felt like this is what I wanted to do this for. I wanted to chronicle all the things that I was going through and hope that it resonates with somebody else out there who might be in the thick of it too. So just again, some background. I'm 38 years old. I was diagnosed at the end of July 2025, so it's only been a few months. We're in just almost the end of October now. And it's been a journey. It's been lonely, it's been confusing, and it's been super overwhelming. And like I said, stuff has been a lot recently. So, yeah. And again, I'm doing this while I'm gaming because I'm horrified to put my face out there. And I think that this is just a really calm way for me to be able to share my story, and not feel pressure about it, with the exception that I can't golf. So where I am now, I have my third appointment with a neurodivergent specialized therapist. She actually is autistic herself and just has a lot in common with me, that I just feel like it's been a good match so far, and it's already been super validating to have somebody, that just understands the process a little bit and knows what's going on and can really help me kind of manage some things. What led me to search her out, because I don't know, maybe people automatically think about that, but I didn't in the beginning. I was good with my therapist, and everything seemed to be fine until it wasn't. So essentially, I kind of talked about it in the first video, but I lost my job over the summer because I left the country, and my job was fine with that until they weren't, and so they gave me an ultimatum to either stay in the country that I am in now, or return to my home country. But if I stayed, I would lose my job, and obviously I came here for a reason. I had just gotten out of a 15-year relationship, and I was kind of coming home and trying to restart my life. So, I'm happy here, and there was no way I was gonna go back for my job. So, I unfortunately lost it because of that. And a couple months after that was when I found out that I was autistic, and between, as I mentioned in the first video too, I was already working with another therapist, which is kind of how I came across. She's the one that flagged the autism diagnosis, and just kind of going down this path. But she was really, I kind of started to work with her because I really wanted kind of help navigating just, a lot of the changes in my life and kind of working through the relationship and all that kind of stuff. And, 15 years is a long time, and a lot happened in those 15 years that I kind of really needed to like sort through. And in sorting through that was a lot. And then, of course, finding this out was huge. And I'm in the process of trying to find a new job. So basically, what happened was I had an interview process, to make kind of like a long story short. It wound up being 2 months long and 4 interviews long, and it was for a startup company. It was super intense. If anybody has ever worked for a startup, this would be my third one. And, the interview processes, they're a very small company. It's very intensive, and, it's a lot of waiting, and a lot of stuff was riding on the potential of me getting this job. This was potentially life-changing for me. So kind of just a buildup of a lot of emotional stuff going on, kind of working through a lot of stuff in therapy, reading a lot of old journals that were just bringing up a lot of emotions and feelings back, not only just from my relationship, but from my past. And then reading things in my journals that were pertaining that I didn't realize then, but now pertain to, my autism and just like my struggles through my entire life. And, it's heavy stuff when you're trying to put it together. So I had a couple of meltdowns. And the second one was pretty bad. And what preceded that was, I want to say like maybe the week before, I had a meltdown where I was supposed to, I don't know, I read, I had therapy, I went through a journal message, and I just got super overwhelmed, and I went to a park nearby, and yeah, I had a meltdown. I was crying, I was shaking, I was super emotional. And then I want to say like 3 days later, 4 days later, I got an email from this company that I was admitted to the final round of interviewing, which was great. But what they wanted was kind of like a presentation of data, and it was just like, it was a lot. It wasn't just like data. They had like 4 different things that they wanted from me, and I got very overwhelmed, and I told myself, okay, it's fine. Go get something to eat. Go sit at the park. You'll have lunch by yourself at the park, or dinner, and you'll sit and you'll relax and you can work on this. They gave me a week to kind of do this, and no pressure. It's just my potential life-changing job on the line. What happened is I went to go to get sushi. I needed to go to the grocery store for something first. I can't remember what it was, but I got in the car and I went to go to the grocery store, and the trip in the car to the grocery store I felt trapped, I felt panicked, I felt like I was going to die on the road if I didn't get out of that car. And then from that feeling, I had to go into the grocery store, which was absolutely horrible. With the lights and the people and the noise, so the intensifying panic attack feeling was violating me. And right after the grocery store, I go to pick up my sushi. I order it online. I go inside. It's stressful to go inside, and I get the sushi, and I drop the car off, and I go to walk to the park. And by the time I get to the park, I am in shambles. I'm shaking, I'm crying, I'm hyperventilating. It looks like I am, yeah, I mean, I'm dying. And I was there for a couple hours. The sun had set. It actually started to rain, and I was just curled up against a tree, sobbing and shaking and listening to music, trying to calm myself down. It was pretty bad. So fast forward to a couple of days later, I need to work on this project. Now, mind you, I've had 2 meltdowns now, and now it's go time for the project. Somebody was supposed to help me, and she did. She was a huge help. But unfortunately, like, what happened was in the middle of this person who was taking a lot of time out of her schedule to try and help me, because I was just super overwhelmed, and I just needed help. And she had the skills that could really help me kind of put this together quickly, to present it. And we were pulling some pretty late nights, like 2, 3 in the morning. And I, up until this point, I will say that my executive functioning was trash. I mean, 3 weeks prior, like including the meltdowns, like I was struggling to eat. I was eating only once or twice a day. My sleep was crap. I just, like I said, everything that was going on in therapy and all the things that were leading up, just, it was just a lot. And I was not recognizing the signs to the lead up of just all the emotional things that were happening and the stress of like the situation and the waiting, right? The anticipation of, am I going to get a call back? Am I going to get the email for the next interview? All that kind of stuff. So fast forward to our second night of trying to work on this thing, and I just went into a shutdown in the middle of it. It was like, I don't know what time it was, maybe 12, 1 in the morning, and I shut off. I mean, they call it a shutdown for a reason. My off switch went off, and I felt like the biggest piece of shit on the planet because I was nonverbal. I completely was just uncharacteristically not very hospitable, to her, in terms of like, hey, are you hungry? Do you want anything to eat? Do you need anything? And again, this is somebody that is working a job, who's taking the time out of her schedule to try and help me. And it was bad. It was really bad. That night, I barely slept. The next day, she helped me for another couple of hours and then left. And the minute that she left, and this was like, I think this was a Sunday. No, it was a Monday. And this was due on Tuesday. Or no, it was a Sunday due Monday. And I just, the minute that she left, I had another meltdown. I just went to the park. I felt panicked and I had to get out of the house. I cried. First I went up to my room and I cried, and then I had to leave. I didn't know where I needed to go, but I had to go. So I left the house and I walked to the park again, and I just listened to the same song over and over again, and I laid down and I just tried to look at the trees. And I have, one of the things that I have is like a heavy brass, basically just a brass square thing I just like to play with, something I used to stem. And I just listened to the song over and over again, and I just beat this thing into the dirt for like 2.5 hours just to the beat. I just was laying on my back, just beating this thing into the dirt. And it got to the point that a very nice older gentleman came to check on me because he thought something was wrong. And, I just told him I was stressed and trying to get out nervous energy. But yeah, it was pretty bad. And because I didn't realize what was happening, rightfully so, it caused a little bit of tension with the person that was trying to help me, because from their point of view, I kind of just like crapped out in the middle of them trying to help me. And, I wasn't really recognizing what was happening until it was after the fact, and it was kind of too late. And then I was in that shutdown for 9 days. And again, really not sleeping well, not eating well. I couldn't kind of get myself to go to the grocery store. I really needed to go grocery shopping, and I couldn't. And bless my friend that was trying to help me, the same person who was trying to help me with this project. She was also super helpful when I couldn't go to the grocery store, because she tried to help me go alone. Obviously, once I explained the shutdown situation, she understood. But I couldn't go to the grocery store alone. I was like, I have to have somebody go with me. And even before I went, we were sitting in the truck before I went to Walmart, and I just sobbed. I just cried. I was so stressed about going in, even with somebody there with me. And it was, yeah, it was a lot. And I think that that really made me realize that I needed someone to kind of help me understand more, because I understood what happened after, you know. I was like, oh, this is a meltdown, this is a shutdown. I've heard about these, and I when I had read about them before, I understood that those are things I had experienced throughout my life, including a really bad, you know, autistic burnout, but I just didn't realize it was happening to me in the moment. And it was that moment that was kind of the catalyst for me to be like, you know what? This is a bitch. I need some help. This bitch needs some help. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Um, and what's going on in my life right now, it's hard. Shocker, well, maybe not a shocker, but spoiler alert, I wound up not getting the job, which really sucked. It had nothing to do with the presentation. They actually loved it. It was just, you know, I knew there was a chance I wouldn't get it because it was down to me and one other person, and they wrote me a very nice letter about, you know, how well I did and yada yada yada. But you know, they went with somebody else. Um, so where I am right now is, yeah, I'm in the gray area for a lot of things in my life. I'm unsure. This is kind of like a unstable time, and I'm doing my best to just try and navigate it as much as possible. And yeah, I just, it's crazy. It's just a crazy time, and it's super stressful. And in this current moment, you know, once I got turned down for the job, I was, and have been, pretty depressed. And I even did something crazy where I applied for a FedEx job that was in person in a warehouse because I thought I could do it. And I had mentioned this in my last video too, but I haven't worked in person in a job in over 5, almost 6 years, which has been like amazing. And I told myself I was never going in ever again. But obviously, I at some point I'm gonna run out of money. So somebody had recommended, oh, FedEx has jobs, you know, and it's like, oh, I saw it seasonal, and in my head I was like, okay, maybe I can just do some warehouse sorting thing just for, like, you know, seasonal stuff. Holidays are coming up. Dude, worst idea ever. I just applying for the fucking job sent me into a meltdown. Literally, I was anxious. It was as if I had gotten the job and I was envisioning myself going with a non-structured schedule, having to talk to people, go inside, training, just honestly the getting into the car and going to the place at just different times when I have gotten very, very used to, like, my schedule. Uh, it was bad. So I had a meltdown just applying for a job that was in person. So yeah, it wasn't cute. So yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm in the gray. I'm stressing. I'm yeah, it sucks right now. I really got to figure out how to make that sound go away. I apologize. I don't know how to. I feel like I've shut everything off except for that. I don't know how to make that go away. But yeah, it's stressful. I I don't know, and it's why I'm trying to make these videos, because it's scary and it's lonely, and I can imagine that there's other people out there who are dealing with the same stuff that I am, that just might want to relate. I don't know, but it's wild. So anyway, third appointment with the neurodiverse therapist tomorrow. I'm looking forward to talking to her, and I'm hoping that over time we will work through finding, yeah, like my triggers, and just, you know, knowing what I need to do to kind of work through things, and just being able to do better, and also just to support me at a time where, quite frankly, I'm fucking depressed and struggling, and as of right now, executive functioning is better-ish. I mean, once I kind of got told I wasn't going to get the job, the depression kind of kicked in. It's been a little rough. The last couple of days, I've been really trying hard to get up at a decent time and eat at least twice a day. I've not been doing great at it, but today I ate 3 times, so that was like a win for me. And yeah, just trying to stay consistent and working out, and obviously still applying like crazy for every remote job under the sun. But it's been hard. It's been a struggle, and it's also really, really, really hard to kind of admit things like my executive functioning is low. It was also really hard for me to talk about my shutdown with this person because it felt like a complete cop-out. And it's like you spend your whole life knowing that you can push through these things, but also understanding that like every time you did, it was terrible. And I mean, I've had shutdowns numerous times in my life, tons of times, hundreds. God, I mean, I'm 38. It's a lot. But once you have a shutdown, you can't push through that. But I'm just like things like, oh, like going into work, like, oh, I don't just get a FedEx job or just get a stocking job. Like, I know what it's like to do that because I did it for so long. And it was why I was so stressed about finding a remote job when I realized that was a thing you could do. Because I was like, that's my life. I had spent my life just trying to find ways to avoid people and be alone and not be around and stressed and all this shit that you avoid when, you just can't handle the fucking world. And I kind of feel shitty, to be honest. I kind of feel shitty right now. I feel shitty like I should be able to do these things. Like I know that I have in the past, but at the same time, like I said, you know what they put you through, and I've been there, and I'm 38, and it's like, I don't want to keep fucking doing this to myself. Like, it's just exhausting, and because I know what it's like not to, like to have that freedom of working remotely, and I know not everybody can or does, it's just like, I would rather not be alive than to put myself through another so many years. Like no, I can't, I won't. It's just like, and I feel, I don't know, maybe weak. And I know that's like not true, but it's kind of how it feels. And that's part of the process, right? It's like, I know that's not the case, and I know it's just because my brain is different, and that's not my fault. It's just how I was born. If anybody's fault, it's my father's. I know that now. If we're gonna play the blame game, but I'm just it's part of the process of just trying to like accept and be kind to yourself. And I don't think I've been kind to myself like at all through most of my life. And this was definitely like a huge part of it, but I'm really trying hard now to be kinder to myself. And as hard as it is, has been extremely validating in my experience, but it's still really new, and I still feel like because people have known me to be able to do things and push through things and be a certain way, that I sometimes also feel like I'm kind of dealing with expectations, but I know what's best for myself. Like, I know that. And so it's hard. And so even at almost 40 years old, you still struggle with these things. And this is still so new to me. So I'm trying to figure it all out. So I will end that here for now. And I don't know, there's so many things to talk about. Maybe I can just keep talking about, see how the next week goes. Hopefully I feel a little bit better, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what's going on. And we'll see how me uploading these videos and doing this kind of stuff works too. See if anybody gives a crap about it. If it resonates with anybody. But I'm going to try it anyway. So, thank you for anybody that happened to take the time to listen, and if you're in the same position, just know that you're not alone. Good luck. We'll figure it out. It's okay. And take care of yourselves. Till next time.